Booking. The art of wrestling storytelling. When it goes well, the audience can't wait for next week's show, and when it goes badly, eyes roll and ratings plummet. So, while on one end of the spectrum we have the mega powers exploding, Shawn Michaels' boyhood dream coming true, and Sami Zayn joining the bloodline, on the other, Vince McMahon is the higher power, the Big Show tries to steal Daniel Bryan's yes chant, and Vince Russo becomes WCW World Champion. Today, let's look at some creative ideas that either had big consequences down the line, messed up months of work, or otherwise just left us shaking our heads. I'm Senor Siete for 7 Wrestling, and this is 7 of the worst booking ideas of all time. Now, before we crack open the book, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel so we can bring you even more wrestling disasters. Number 1. Gone in 90 seconds. WWE had never seen anything quite like The Fiend, a seemingly supernatural being who could take a licking and keep on ticking. In fact, Bray Wyatt's horrifying alter ego absorbed approximately 1 billion Seth Rollins curb stomps before claiming the Universal title at 2019's Crown Jewel Premium Live event. From there, The Fiend ran roughshod over a good portion of the roster until facing off against the former WCW legend Bill Goldberg at 2020's Super Showdown event. 4 spears and a jackhammer was all it took for the Hall of Famer to reclaim the Universal title from the once-thought invincible Fiend. This quick victory made the rest of the roster, especially top star Seth Rollins, look weak. And for what? Goldberg's WrestleMania date with Roman Reigns had to be canceled due to COVID-19, so the end result was the dream match of Goldberg versus, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman, yeah. And the match itself only took about 2 minutes, so the guy who squished everyone had himself gotten squished. Sorry, Seth. Number 2. Ricky Steamboat. WrestleMania 3 was the stuff of legends. Hulk Hogan slammed the undefeated 700-pound Andre the Giant while tearing every muscle in his back. Brutus Beefcake earned his barber moniker by giving Adrian Adonis a little trim. And Roddy Piper would retire forever, never to see the inside of a wrestling ring again. But most people remember the evening for the match that completely stole the show. The Macho Man Randy Savage defending the Intercontinental title against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. The fans were blown away by this battle of breathtaking near falls, and surely a televised rematch of what was considered the best match in WWE history would do big box office, right? Unfortunately, Steamboat had the audacity to ask for some time off to be with his wife while she gave birth to his first child. So, he was forced to drop his title a short 3 months after winning it to an Elvis impersonator. Yes, really. So, no top-tier babyface, no Randy Savage rematch, no turkey sandwiches, no turkey salad, turkey gravy, turkey hash, turkey a la king, gallons of turkey soup, gone, all gone. And then, to add insult to injury, they booked the WrestleMania 4 tournament to make it look like we'd get Steamboat versus Savage in the second round. But Ricky was unceremoniously bounced by Greg the Hammer Valentine. That'll teach you to support your family. Number 3. A streak snuffed. When people talk about streaks at WrestleMania, they tend to be talking about one guy, Sarah Undertaker's ex-husband, The Undertaker. But did you realize that another prominent superstar had a decent-sized streak going? And if it wasn't for a useless loss in a match that superstar didn't even have to be in, he would have faced The Undertaker the following year in a streak versus streak match. I'm of course talking about the rated R superstar himself, Edge. Take a look at the record books. Edge and his partner Christian defeated the Hardys and the Dudleys in back-to-back WrestleManias. Then, he took a win over Booker T at WrestleMania X8 in a match where the winner would receive a Japanese shampoo commercial. Yep, shampoo commercial. From there, he claimed the first ever Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 21 and turned Mick Foley into a crispy critter at WrestleMania 22. After that, you're looking at a respectable record of 5-0. But then, at WrestleMania 23, they randomly put him in a Money in the Bank ladder match. And not only did he not win, but he didn't even finish the match when Jeff Hardy flattened him like a Canadian pancake. If Edge had stayed home or received a win over a lesser talent, he could have rolled into the following year's WrestleMania main event against The Undertaker with a clean record. Instead, he just ended up with ladder marks on his back. Number 4. Bank robbery. Edge again? Oof. Poor bastard. Anyhow, nobody was quite sure what to do with the Money in the Bank briefcase when it was first introduced. But eventually, Edge would lean into his dastardly persona and realize that his character should take the biggest shortcut possible, cheap-shotting a champion after they just survived a grueling Elimination Chamber match. And that's just what he did, cashing in immediately at the end of John Cena's victory at 2006's New Year's Revolution. This was only supposed to be a short-term reign, as the leader of the C Nation was already slated for a match against Triple H at that year's Showcase of the Immortals. However, Edge's reign proved a spike in ratings, something that absolutely should not be ignored in this era of plummeting numbers. Apparently, people like to see Lita in live smooching celebrations. Who knew? But ratings be damned, Edge promptly lost his first WWE title to Cena a few weeks later at the Royal Rumble because, well, you know. Number 5. Nexus Perplexus. On the Monday, June 7th, 2010 episode of Raw, the main event of CM Punk vs. John Cena was interrupted by an octet of performers from the first incarnation of NXT. And the wrestling world had never seen anything like it before. Punk and Cena, pummeled. Ring announcers, pummeled. Ringside staff, also pummeled. The ring itself, ripped to shreds. This group would come to be known as the Nexus, and they quickly became the hottest thing in wrestling. Led by season winner Wade Barrett, the original lineup featured future main eventers such as Ryback and Bryan Daniel Bryanson. They ran roughshod over the entire organization until they were slated for the main event of SummerSlam in a 7 vs 7 elimination tag match against such big names as John Cena, Edge, Chris Jericho, and Bret Hart, like 20 years after his prime, for whatever reason. They were doing great. It was down to Wade Barrett and Justin Gabriel against John Cena, and the man who has a doctorate in thugonomics had just received a brutal DDT on the exposed concrete floor. Surely, this hot new septet was on their way to victory. But, Apparently, Edge and Chris Jericho had been very verbal against this ending, and John Cena himself would eventually admit that it was probably not the brightest idea. So why did they derail the hottest stable in wrestling? Why was Nexus never taken seriously again? Well, according to Wade Barrett, Vince McMahon said that SummerSlam needed a happy ending. You know, like in 2011 when Alberto Del Rio cashed in Money in the Bank on white-hot CM Punk, or 2012 where a heel Brock Lesnar wrecked Triple H's arm, or 2013 when Randy Orton cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on the beloved Daniel Bryan, or 2014 when Brock Lesnar absolutely smushed babyface John Cena. Number 6. Woo, woo, whoa. Mick Foley used to say that you'd never get anywhere in WWE unless Vince McMahon was personally invested in your character. And in 2011, it's safe to say that the genetic jackhammer wasn't particularly interested in Zack Ryder's take on the popular MTV hit Jersey Shore. Not one to just hang out in catering, the artist currently known as Matt Cardona created his own hilarious YouTube show called Z, True Long Island Story, and it took off. Suddenly, fans around the world were tuning in droves to be told to take care and spike their hair. Then a funny thing happened on the way to the Survivor Series. Signs started to show up in the audience. Ryder started getting bigger reactions. His merchandise would fly off the shelves. And most surprisingly of all, We Want Ryder chants drowned out none other than The Rock on the evening of his first in-ring match in nearly 7 years. It seemed like Ryder's internet innovations had turned his floundering career around. A month later, he would claim the US title from Dolph Ziggler at the TLC pay-per-view. But it was all much ado about nothing. From there, Ryder became a side player in a feud between Kane and John Cena that would see Ryder battered, cuckolded, and famously tossed off the entrance stage in a wheelchair. And his US title reign was cut short at 29 days when he lost the strap to Jack Swagger, who would proceed to do absolutely nothing with the belt. Ultimately, aside from being a squandered opportunity for another merchandise movie good guy, it gave the rest of the roster the message that the only people who were going to get the chance to get over were the people the office wanted to get over. A very bad look indeed. Number 7. The Bummer of Punk. There's a saying in the blacksmithing industry that you've got to strike while the iron is hot. Well, assuming it's blacksmithing, it could very well be dry cleaning. Nevertheless, nobody was hotter than Charles Matthew Punk after his famous pipe bomb promo in the summer of 2011. the voice of the voiceless would go on to claim the WWE title from John Cena at that year's Money in the Bank, blow a kiss farewell, seemingly leave the company, and become the most talked about superstar the WWE had had in mainstream press in what seemed like forever. He was everywhere. The question being, what is this outsider gonna do with the WWE title? Everybody was on the edge of their seats, but the answer was quickly given to us, nothing. He was gonna do nothing. Not a damn thing. The Second City Saint popped up at the end of an episode of Raw with a cool new theme song, ready to hop into the main event of SummerSlam. Okay, maybe they could salvage the moment with a champ who was actively rallying against his employer. Nope. Title quickly put on Alberto Del Rio. Well, maybe a feud with a WWE heir apparent Triple H? Nope. Pedigree 1, 2, 3. Okay, seriously, guys? You're killing me. All right, well, that's our list. Do we miss any? Feel free to let us know in the comments section below, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, I am Senior Siete, and this has been 7 Wrestling. Bye-bye.